Okay. Hopefully this works. Alright, so we are gonna have poor lighting because it's a really yucky day out. And I made this other video and it was like way too long, so I'm gonna try to make this as quickly as possible. And the other video had my kids screaming, which I can't unless I like ship them off to Timbuktu. You're gonna hear noises, hear talking. But to try to make this as quickly as possible, it's still gonna be long. So there was gonna be two parts to our detox. One was the experimental frequencies, and then the other part was the Lyme protocol, which was going to be on my machine. The problem is a small little matter called quantum entanglement, and we're going to go over that briefly and what that means for us. Okay. And actually, wait, before we start, I mentioned this in the video for the impinging water, and I was going to show you the foot baths, and I didn't have them like right there, and I didn't want to go searching for them, but here they are. I'm using one to prop up my phone. So I bought a 6-pack. These were $31. They are on the expensive side, but I was hearing from people that they were like being used for like camping, and they were sturdy and all this stuff. And by the pictures, I was like, oh, okay, they kind of look, but I don't know. But these are actually like thick plastic, and with the amount of people and whatnot using these, I figure we need something definitely sturdy. So this, I think, is like 4.5 inches by like 14 and by 11 or something like that. So you can get something seriously at Walmart for like probably $2. Whatever works for you if you want to do a foot bath. Okay, and that is important when we talk about stuff later, but that went with the other video. Now let's talk about quantum entanglement. Let me first talk very briefly. Let's go over the quantum physics, which is what Spooky is based on. And basically what quantum physics in our case, I'm sure there's probably a much more in-depth explanation. We're going for like the bear preschool baby version. Quantum physics says you have this purple block and you are going to exert some type of action, in our case frequencies, onto the block. And what they're saying is the same exact block, be it 6 inches, 6 feet, 6 miles, 600 miles away, is going to experience the exact same effect that this one is going to from those frequencies. So despite the fact that there are other blocks around, okay, the purple one is going to have the effect. And so what Spooky is based on is we put a piece of our DNA from our fingernail clipping into my machine, and the frequencies are hitting that DNA, and then the frequencies, because they're being kind of broadcast as they go out, it's going to do that same effect on the same exact DNA, which you could be in my house, you could be in the next town over, you can be across the world. So that is quantum physics. Again, baby version. What quantum entanglement, and I don't think I made a picture of quantum entanglement. What quantum entanglement says is that because, all right, let me show you. I do have this picture. This is a picture of my machines. I gave you a video and I had an actual like video of what my machines look like, and this is a baby version of a picture of my machines. I have a gray machine that has 2 remotes on it, and I have 2 blue machines, each with only 1 remote on it. What they're saying is when we were going to do the Lyme protocol, or even the DH experimental frequencies, those we were only going to be under here like a couple times out of the week. Whereas with the Lyme protocol, we were literally, I was going to break everybody up, like half of the people in this remote and the other half in this one. And because with the Lyme protocol, each person or each group of people needs 2 remotes. So you would need one here, one group is in these 2 remotes and one group is in these 2 remotes. What quantum entanglement is saying is that all these people whose DNA is being combined and having all this action put together, your, not actual DNA, but your physical symptoms could end up cross-contaminating the other people in the remote. So, for example, and I don't think anybody in our group has diabetes, that's just the first thing that had come to my mind, but let's say there's 7 people in this remote, and person 6 has diabetes. Well, what quantum entanglement says is that there is a risk of person 1, maybe person 1 and 3, or whatever, coming down with diabetes because person 7 has it. And I know for myself, and I know from all of you guys, you all have enough of your own problems that you don't need anybody else's problems. And although nobody in the spooky community has actually experienced this, there are other people who've used this type of technology, this type of, right, using the quantum physics. They have experienced this. And I want to say there's about 4 known cases. So, you know, I don't know how many people actually use this type of technology. It's clearly not in the like hundreds of thousands, but that's just not a risk that I personally am willing to take. And I know in the past that we have, like, when my family comes down with the flu, I put everybody in one remote and hit flu on us. And for that, I don't feel uncomfortable with, because it's for a short, you know, matter of time. And again, the Lyme protocol is literally all of our DNA in a remote 24/7 for 9 months straight. So I don't think anybody wants to take that risk. So we are not going to be doing the Lyme protocol. Now, before you be like, oh no, you know, that's a bummer. There's some things I have learned recently about germs. And I've heard, and maybe, you know, some of you might have heard this, some of you might not have, but there are 2 primary theories. And I'm going to say that the second theory is actually broken into 2 groups, because it's the second group that I was in, I'm like, that was not even to the level that we were thinking happened. But for anybody who's not aware, or who hasn't really thought about it, because I know I didn't until it was brought up to me, but all of Western medicine, all of its premises, all of its oh gosh, I can't think of the wording, but all of its, like, where their efforts are put into is based on a theory, germ theory. And it is a theory, which means it's not been 100% proven. Now, is that to say there's no germs? No, but it is to say that the way they view what germs are or what they're doing may not be what's actually going on. So germ theory says there is a germ, and you, here's your hand, come along and touch it, okay? Be it on a doorknob, be it on somebody sneezed on you, but you come in contact with it. And then here you are. This is supposed to be somebody who's sad, who's like got watery eyes and a runny nose. Okay, and then you get sick. So they're saying germs plus you come in contact with them equals you being sick. Okay, that's one theory. The other theory is, it's called terrain theory. Okay, terrain theory. Okay, now this is the way that I had learned terrain theory, and I'm going to explain it even further because it's even deeper than this. But terrain theory says, in this example, you have a fish tank and a fish, you have dirty water. Which is why it's got these brown things in it. It's just to show dirty water. Okay, sad fish because it's sick. So Western medicine says give it a vaccine or give it some pills. Okay, that's gonna make the fish better. Terrain theory, that the way I was taught, is clean up the fish tank. Okay, and in my case, we got an air filter, you got some plants in there, and you got even, you probably can't see them, they're my little shrimp. Okay, clean up dead matter and decaying matter, and you're gonna have a happy, healthy fish. Okay, so it doesn't need drugs, it just needs a clean tank. And so what that kind of broke down to was that the state of your immune system was going to determine if you got ill or not. However, terrain theory goes deeper than that, and I'm going to put the videos maybe linked down below, I don't know what, but in the email somewhere I will send you videos. They're kind of long, but they are very worth watching because it will kind of blow your mind. And I'm not gonna get into it because then my video is gonna be really long, but I will use an analogy to it. For me, that kind of makes sense. Again, with an analogy, they always break down somewhere, so let's just pretend about those breakdowns are not existing, okay? Because then this doesn't really work, but that's like with a lot of analogies. But in this analogy, you have, you come to a new place, you move to a new country, I don't know what, and just say you don't know anything about mosquitoes, and you go for a walk, and you come across, it's like this swampy area, you know, but it's really intriguing, and you want to take pictures or just check it out. And the water's all like obviously mucky and just sitting there, it's you know, still water. And then you're getting all these bites, okay? You have these symptoms, okay? They're obviously uncomfortable because you can feel them, when they first poke you, and then of course they're itchy. So you go back to your room, and next week later, like a week later, you want to go for another walk, and you think, I don't want to experience that again. I'm gonna go, walk somewhere else. So you go to another place, and they have this beautiful brook. It's running water, sparkling in the sunshine, all that kind of good stuff. And you want to dip your toes in, and lo and behold, you're having a great time, and you get back to your room, and you think to yourself, wow, I don't have any mosquito bites. I don't have any symptoms, okay? And you get this brilliant idea that, and again, this is where the analogy breaks down, but just understand where I'm going with this. So you think, okay, if I just kill off all of the mosquitoes, then I won't get mosquito bites, right? So you spray some stuff over at the swamp. Now, temporarily, it's true. You won't get any symptoms. Now, in our case, this analogy that I'm using, the still water is our body, and running water is the body. So the water, both bodies of water is representing our bodies. Mosquitoes are the germs, and obviously mosquito bites are the symptoms or lack thereof. Okay, so you can go over to the swamp. You can spray some, bug killer, and you won't get the mosquitoes, the germs. You've killed off the germs, and you will walk away mosquito bite free. So you won't have any bites, and you could say, "Yay! I'm now, in relating to our body, I'm now healthy." This is what basically the Lyme protocol would be doing, killing off a bunch of germs. I put them in quotes again. The actual bacteria, funguses, and parasites are all very real. You will have to watch the video to see if viruses are actually real. Like I said, blew my mind. It should blow yours, because it's a different look and a different take, and on how we've approached health, and it should change, one, how you view health, and two, what your personal responsibility is in your health. Okay, so anyways, our analogy, okay, you spray the stuff, and then after say a month or two, it's rained by then, whatever, it's been time. Well, in that case, the bug spray wore off. So you go over there, and the water's still mucky and stuff, and you go because you want to take some neat pictures about something in the swamp, and lo and behold, you are getting bit up again. You've got symptoms. Okay, well, what it comes down to is that the germs or the mosquitoes are a problem. They cause symptoms. However, the solution was not to kill them off. The solution in this case would be to clean up the swamp. Okay, get the water running. Maybe you go walk up the way, and you find out that this used to be like a bigger stream, and it got blocked up by, I don't know, beaver, trash, whatever. You clear that up, the water starts running, and once all the muck's been cleared away and the water is running, you will not have mosquitoes anymore. So what this means in health is that, do you have strep? Yes. Do you have whatever? I'm trying to think of bacterial things at this point, but you have that basically in your body anyways. You have literally, there are more bacterial cells in your body than there are human cells. So why is it that you are not sick with 500 things? Because when you go out to Walmart or to some store, you are literally coming in contact with hundreds of germs, and yet you don't have 100 illnesses. Okay, and again, the old I don't know if you're going to say old train, but the way I see it, the old train theory was that your immune system was just robust and you could fend them off. Well, with this train theory that I've learned is that the germs, and part of that is your immune system, but it's more than that. And again, you'd have to watch the videos to understand that, but it's more than just your immune system, but that is part of it. That's why it would be working. But also that viruses, in the video you'll find out that basically they are cellular debris, or in the case of like this mRNA, I can never say that right, messenger material that supposedly is being sent off. They're saying, yeah, that's real, but it's not being replicated like you think, or not for the purposes that you think. It's actually to literally to get your body to respond to detox because you have a poison, an outside poison coming that you need resources to defend yourself against. And that to me was mind-blowing. And you'd have to watch to the end to hear about his thing about the gels. I love it. I get like all geeky over this stuff. Anyway, so what does this mean? What this means for us is that we will be doing the DH frequencies. When I was first going to do the DH frequencies, the idea was we were going to do like one every 3 days, I think. But a couple things. Now we have a lot of people joining us. Again, that wasn't going to be an issue because I was just going to put everybody in one remote. We can't do that. We can only put a max of 4 people at a time through the remotes. And right now, I believe we have about 20 people. So I'm going to, especially with the frequencies that just have like, they're only run for a couple minutes, I can definitely do like 2 groups of people a day. So what I'm going to do is try to make a calendar, and I might have to change it up depending on the frequencies because some of them are like 3 hours long, in which case I might not have time to run everybody like 2 times, like 2 groups a day. So, and I literally right before, I was setting this up and the UPS guy came up because, so this is my new generator, and I definitely have found a difference on how this works compared to these. Now these still work, don't get me wrong. Otherwise I wouldn't have even bought this one, right? Because if these didn't work, why would I assume that this one did? So these do work. I just noticed that this worked better. However, some people are saying that yes, part of it is the machine because it can run higher frequencies. Okay, these can't run the same high frequencies. They have to scale it down. That's a whole other science lesson, which we won't get into. So it can run the frequencies, it's just not in the same measure, I guess. Kind of like a piano scale, you know, like there's multiple C notes on a piano, and then there's the really high C note and there's the really low one. Well, it's going to want to do like from like mid-range down to low. It can't do the high ones, and so they have to scale it down to play the same frequency but at the mid-level or lower level. Okay, so right before I made this, I had bought the new remotes, which is this part of the machine for my older ones, and they just came in. This is Spooky Boost. Okay, this is a booster that, I know, you're like, what is this? And this is the actual remote where I put your fingernail clipping in this little, inside the little clam. So this is when it's shut. And I've like I said, I've shown this to you guys in another video, but it just came in. I'm so excited. And it's like, it's really encased in there. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get it out here on camera to show you, but there we go. Yep. I'm unboxing it. Okay, so this opens up like a little clam, and we put your fingernail clippings in there. Okay, so these are the new remotes, and they are supposed to work better. And people who have the older machine like I do said that when they bought these, they did notice a difference in how the results, I guess I'll say. So we are ready to start, people. We are ready to start. We have everything we need. So send me your nail clippings so we can get started. I will make up, like I said, the schedule of who's going to be zapped on which days. Okay. So everybody will get zapped like twice a week with the DH experimental frequencies. But what does this mean? Because we can't do the Lyme protocol. Well, this means that you're gonna have to take a look at those videos and understand really where health is coming from, and that you are going to have to do more to get the best outcome. Now, if all you can do, please do not misunderstand, do not hear what I'm not saying, okay? If you can only give me your fingernail clippings, and that's the only thing you can do, like you don't have the mental capacity right now to listen to the frequencies outside of this, then give me just your fingernails. That's the bare minimum. That's you can't have it work any other way except with the stickers, and again, that still requires Either one, I guess, requires you to do more, but the fingernail clippings is literally you take your fingernail clippings like you saw in the video, and you're going to send it to me at least once a month, if not once every 3 weeks. That's a one-time, once-a-month thing. Then do that, and hopefully over time, the frequencies you should... These frequencies are not meant, though, to like... Okay, so if we were doing the detox, the Lyme Protocol one, or any of the other detoxes, you will see or notice die-offs or some other reaction, okay? Because we would be killing off germs. Again, there are germs. It's just that you can kill them off, okay? And you will have a result. You'll feel better, but that's going to be temporary because you didn't actually heal, like you didn't make yourself healthy, okay? You still have the swamp, okay? Your body is still the swamp. What that means is to get the most, again, to get the most. So a bare minimum, you will see very, very slow progress, okay? Because it's trying to get to the root of your energetic level, okay? This is like, again, it makes more sense when you watch the video, but it's gonna be slow. Not to say it will not work, but if you are like, I really want to get rid of my anxiety, I really want to get rid of whatever, you're gonna have to put some work in. So what does that work entail? That means use the stickers that you have in your packet. Okay, I will be sending more as we do more frequencies. But when you're not being zapped, and this is, of course, you do have to listen to your body. So let's just say on Monday you got zapped and you're like, whoa, like I felt something. I maybe have a little bit of headache or whatever. Do not use a sticker. Do not use anything else. You just need to wait for that to go away. You also need to let me know, because that means it was a bit too much for you. Okay, but assuming you didn't have that reaction, then let's say Monday you got zapped, Tuesday and Wednesday, you can take the sticker and put it in your pocket and, you know, walk around with it for an hour, 2 hours. Again, you're gonna have to play around, because you might, for the first couple of stickers, you might have this in your pocket for 2 hours a day, you don't feel anything, and then with the third sticker, you put in your pocket, and after an hour you're like, oh my gosh, I have a headache. Okay, so each frequency is going to hit you personally differently depending on where your personal weaknesses are. So I can't say, everybody watch out, we're doing number 5 and this is going to be a doozy. It's not like that. I can't predict which ones you're going to have a bigger reaction to. Okay, so you can do your stickers. Then with the audio, I sent some audios already, the 1 through 6. If you don't want to do sticker, you just want to listen to the audio. Again, anytime you listen to the audio, especially on your phone, you have to take put your phone on airplane mode. But if you're gonna listen to that, listen to it a couple times through, maybe, how you feel comfortable with it, or with the MP3 player. Okay, you don't even have to listen to the sounds, you just have it on your person to have it in your energetic field. Okay, or I sent the video about imprinting water. Imprint some water, put it in a foot bath. It's supposed to be your feet and water. Okay, put in a foot bath, and again, the only reason why I say foot bath is I'm not sure how many of us have time to fill up a whole entire bathtub and sit in multiple times a week, but that's going to take all of like 2 minutes to fill up. So you can do a foot bath multiple times a week, okay? Or you imprint your water and you drink it, okay? This is just showing the frequency up against the glass or the audio going through the water. So doing that, like I said, this one lady, because there's some people who were giving feedback, because these were, they're still considered experimental, but definitely in the beginning days that he brought these out, there were people who were using them and explaining back how they used them, what their outcome was. And the one lady, she said she got rid of her Lyme's disease, which is no small matter. I mean, with the spooky Lyme protocol that we were going to do, it was going to be a 9-month protocol, and that was us doing it in there's a longer way, a more what do you call it, it had other frequencies that you were personally, as a biofeedback for your own frequencies that were weaken you. Okay, so that was going to add on like literally months, which we couldn't do for everybody. So it was gonna be over a year. So if you did it personally on the spooky, it would take you over a year. She took this audio imprinted her water, drank that 3 times a week or every 3 days, I think she said. And in 6 weeks, her Lyme's was gone. That's 6 weeks compared to over a year. So these are powerful. They do work. Same thing. She had some type of skin cancer. She did the same way, and within weeks, it was gone. But again, you have to be doing something. You're going to have to do probably a little bit more than just having me put your fingernail clipping. Again, please, if that's all you can do, do that. Because I know, like right now, my ADHD is like wicked bad right now. And it's very hard for me to stay on focus, stay on track. And I know that I can only do this much right now as opposed to what I was doing when I had my ADHD under control through diet. Okay. So if you can only give me this much, that's what you do. Okay. And that little bit will eventually add up so you can do more. Okay. But especially with some of the frequencies that are not in my spooky database, that are only in audio, the only way to get around this is you're going to have to listen, or you're going to have to imprint water. Like, there is no other way because they're not on my spooky. And that also means, especially if you listen to the video, 2 videos that I have. Again, please, if you can't do this, don't say, oh, I can't do this, so I can't do any of this. This is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you want to get well, okay, you want to clear up that swamp, okay? For example, you can... let's even think about that swamp issue, okay? Let's just say you only had 5 minutes a day to go out to clean up that swamp. Well, it's gonna take you a lot longer to clean up that swamp, but you can do it in 5 minutes a day, okay? That's like just giving me your nail clipping. If you just only do that, you eventually will, okay, start seeing progress, okay? You will eventually see progress if you invest 5 minutes into cleaning that swamp up, okay? Now, if you spent an hour a day, and I don't mean an actual, like, putting your feet an hour a day. I'm just giving you an idea that the more you invest, okay? So I invest an hour a day, then I'm going to get the swamp cleaned up faster, see improvements faster, okay? So again, if you can't do these, please don't say you can't join us. This is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the more of these that you do, that didn't sound right. The more of these that you do, okay, with them, and again, you do have to listen to your body. Like, you can't just force these, okay? But again, the more that you incorporate these things into your life, for the imprinting water, for example, I plan on, so my daily routine usually is I wake up, obviously run to the bathroom first thing in the morning, I go right to my washing machine and put a load in. If there's something in the dryer, I take it out and fold that right away so that it'll be all ready to go once it's done to be transferred over. Right from there, I go right to my dishwasher, empty it because the boys had to run the dishwasher the night before, and I put all those dishes away. And of course, there's always like, a handful from the night before after they had already done the dishes. Okay, I put those in. That is my morning routine. Yours can look absolutely different. It doesn't matter what your routine is, but think of how you can incorporate these into your already standing routine. So for me, that means when I wake up, go to the bathroom, before I hit the dryer, I am now going to set up, okay, some way, whether it's my phone or whatever, to imprint my water. Start that up, do the washing machine, dryer, and then do the dishes, and then my water is going to be all done. Okay? For a foot bath, if you watch a particular show on Wednesdays and Saturdays, I don't watch shows, I'm just saying, okay? You are at your computer at usually a certain time, or whatever the case may be, set up a foot bath before that show starts. Then for the next 15-20 minutes of that show, you're just soaking your feet while you're watching the show, okay? You have some work to do on your computer. You always do work at a certain time, start at noon or whatever. You got your foot bath and you're just like clicking away at your computer while you're soaking for like 15 minutes. Just incorporate into your daily life, okay? But this does mean that you do eventually need to be looking at this because your body, your swamp got that way because of a lack of this diet. That's huge. And again, I know nobody can really focus on that, especially with a lot of you guys. I already know there's depression, there's food issues. So I'm not saying focus on this first. I'm not saying that. I'm giving you a bigger picture, okay? Like the bigger, like you got that camera looking at one little thing and you zoom out, okay, and looking at the bigger picture. Okay, so eventually as you start to feel better, make one change. I'm going to do a smoothie or a juice in the morning instead of Fruity Pebbles. Okay. Sun and grounding are huge, and you might not actually hear it in the videos that I send because he has one on the heart, which that blew my mind. Like, completely blew my mind. Basically your cells have to, not so much it's your cells, but it's more than that. It's like he was talking about the pumping of your blood and how it gets pumped. Fascinating. It's not because of your heart the way you think it is. But there's this a negative charge on the cell wall and a positive charge in your actual blood cells. And in order to get some of this stuff charged, you get charged like you're a battery, basically. Think of this, you're literally a rechargeable battery. You get charged by grounding, going outside, sitting on the ground 15-20 minutes a day, sitting up against a tree, okay? Or obviously you can do this at the same time, being in the sun. Those actually charge you. Movement, put the trampoline there because your lymph system, that is your sewer system. That's kind of like, if that's backed up, think of the backed up swamp, right? You need to move that blockage in order to get the water flowing. And the same way with most of us, your lymph system, for anybody who remembers through science class, does not move unless you move. So it does not have its own pump. You are the pump. Your muscles moving is the pump. One of the best ways to move that is with a mini trampoline. Can't be a big trampoline. It has to do with the amount of pressure that is being exerted. But again, just move. Like, you don't have to have a trampoline. I happen to have one, but I'm just saying that would be like the best case option. But if you just go for a walk, there's plenty of free exercises on YouTube. And of course, you're going to need to drink your water. Now, if anything on this list that you should start with is the water one. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am really bad with water. I don't get thirsty, very rarely. And I will go days without drinking actual water or anything. How I'm alive, I do not know. I mean, whatever water that my food has is where I get it from. So that's bad. I do not recommend that. That's probably why I have a whole bunch of issues with along with these other things. But if there's one thing that you should be focusing on right now is your water intake. If you've been drinking none like me, start with 1 or 2 cups a day. Just start somewhere. Again, don't say, oh, I don't drink water, I can't do this. No, just start trying to incorporate. Again, make it more of habits. Make it, I don't know what, have a water bottle, something where you can see, reminder of, put a timer on your phone, whatever it takes for you personally to drink your water to do that. So I'm sorry this is long, but after finding out this information between the quantum entanglement and finding out about even the deeper terrain theory, I just realized that just saying, hey, we can't do it this way, we're just going to do the frequencies, the experimental frequencies, and leave it at that was going to do you all a disservice, because it doesn't give you the full picture or the full benefits of getting healthy. So again, and I'm just looking to see if I had any other pictures. I know you all just love them, right? I don't think I do. So what I wanted to say is that it would be better that you did the actual bare minimum of giving me your fingernail clipping, and then try and do some extra water as you start to feel better, to start incorporating these other things. Again, like the foot bath or the imprinting water, try to find something that you already do on a regular basis and tie it to that. Okay? Sorry, I keep saying I realize that. I'm so sorry. But we now have everything ready except for your fingernails. So everybody give me your fingernails. I will, and the other thing I don't have ready is the schedule of who's on what day. But I'll let you know that. We will just assume that those are the days that you are always assigned to. If for some reason I get to some frequency that's 6 hours long, which I don't think there's any, but I'm just saying if there's some huge frequency package, I will let y'all know, hey, we're changing things up this week, because I can't, even with the 3-hour ones, you're supposed to do these, run them right before you go to sleep at night, because the point is you run them and then your brain has to now process them, and so going to sleep, your brain has the time to process that. So even if I have to do 2 batches of people for 3 hours each, that means the first batch is getting the frequencies, starting 6 hours before they go to bed, as opposed to 3 hours, which is still a long time before they go to bed. Because you're supposed to start these, they say an hour, I guess it's supposed to end, the whatever group of frequency sets you're supposed to be doing is supposed to end an hour before you go to bed. The stickers and such, you don't, I did send you guys a sleep sticker. You can put that underneath your pillow. You can leave it there if you want. That one you can have, obviously, as you go to sleep. There might be some others in the future that are not the experimental frequencies that you can, again, wear on your person at all times. But with the experimental ones, they are not to be used overnight because, again, you might end up getting too much of it and you won't realize that until it's too late. And by too late, I just mean you're going to have possible, really bad headache. Jonah, I think I told the story maybe, and I don't know if I told the story with this group, but I had run the first set of frequencies on the audio because I just got it in. I thought, I'll just see what happens, thinking that nothing was going to happen. But I actually started feeling this tingling sensation around my kidneys, and then it spread through my whole body. And I was like, ooh, that's weird, And it wasn't a bad feeling. It's just, and my mind got really clear. I was really awake, even though it's just my mind was so clear. And I think I felt that for about an hour before I shut everything off. That was too long because I ended up feeling that way for 20 hours, which the feeling at first was good, but after 20 hours of that tingling feeling, it got to be agitating. It didn't hurt or anything, it's just agitating. With Jonah, however, he did get the tingling sensation at first. He in the clear mind, he thought that was great. The tingling went away, but the clear mind was there, and he kept insisting on wearing it. And I said listening to it because it was the MP3 player. He just had it. I actually think he put it in his pocket. So you're not actually listening to it. You just have the sound coming out, and again, it has to be in your energetic field. But so he had it for, I think he played it for 6 hours, and I kept saying, dude, you probably should shut this off now because you just don't know, how much is too much. And he's like, no, I feel great, this is great. I mean, he just thought it was amazing. He loved how he felt. However, so it got to be bedtime. I said, okay, you can't listen to it. They say to not, do these things at night. So I'm like, you're going to have to shut it off, which thank God he did. Because the next day he woke up and he was like, oh my God, my head, I feel, oh my gosh, my whole body, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. And I thought maybe he's getting sick, right? That's what I thought. But I was like, ooh, how does your head feel? Because people have explained this particular type of headache feeling a certain way. And I said, well, what kind of headache do you have? And he's like, it feels like my head is caving in. And right then I knew it had nothing to do with being sick. He had too much of the frequency. And I knew that was confirmed when I gave him 4 Tylenol, not Tylenol, Motrin, because he was just a pain, kept going on and on for hours. And I said, just take, give you this Motrin and see if it will help. And basically, it kind of I don't think he was in a 10, but let's just say out of, 1 to 10, he was at a 10. It gave him, he was at 9.75, 9.5. It didn't really do anything. So again, it just validated that it was the frequency use. And for him, same thing. It lasted for about 20 hours. Some people have had this last for 3 days. So you do not, and if you get to that point, when you get to a point where you got a bad headache, you are not allowed to use any frequencies for 3 days, they say. So again, you do need to keep me in the loop. You do need to listen to your body and just start off small. Keep a notebook. I don't have a notebook, but just keep a notebook or notes on your phone with what you're using, when you kind of used it, what day you got, you're getting zapped at, because then you could say, oh, I got zapped on Monday, woke up Tuesday with a headache. Okay, so again, you can report this back to me so I know not to run it for so long, or to make sure you have 3 days to hold off on, whatever the case is. But to try to keep a notebook. Again, if you can't, don't say, oh, I can't do this. No, this is the best thing to do would be to keep a notebook. If you can't, then just don't. But you do need to let me know if you get a headache, because I do need to then make sure not to run this whatever frequency as long. So I hope that covers everything. I'm sorry this is long. It's just there's a lot of information, especially to explain everything that's going on and why we're changing things up. But if you have any questions, reach out to me, let me know. And as soon as I get everybody's fingernail clippings, which hopefully will be soon, because let's say today's Friday and everybody's supposed to get their envelopes by tomorrow. But once we get those in, then we should be able to start, I would say next week, but I will probably wait until at least next weekend. That way I can, if I have a schedule where everybody's on a certain day of the week, then we can start it up, not midweek type of thing. So let's say that as long as everybody gets everything into me, then next weekend, so not, I don't even know what today's day is. Today's like the 10th. So not the 11th and 12th, but the 16th and 17th or whatever. All right, so I will talk to you guys later. Let me know if you have any questions.